Hey guys, what is up? Chris Shadow back here today, and we are doing another World of the Tanks guide. And today we are talking about where to aim at tanks to take out certain modules. But if you want to check out how damage modules affect your tank, go and click on the annotation on screen. It'll bring you to another video where I explain how damaged and destroyed modules affect your tank. But now, into the video. Now, first off, we're going to be talking about the engine. The engine is probably the easiest one to hit out of all of them besides the tracks because the hitbox is so large on most engines. So a good rule of thumb on where to locate the engine: if the turret is in the front of the tank, the engine is probably in the back, and if the turret's in the back of the tank, the engine's probably in the front. So basically guys, to aim for the engine, you probably want to go either from the front of the tank if the engine's in the front, and from the back of the tank if the engine is in the back. And shooting through the sides, it's a little bit more risky if you're aiming to take out the engine because it's usually hard to hit. But if you go right from the rear, it is very easy to hit. So basically that was the engines. Now we're going to move on to the tracks. We all know where the tracks are. They're basically the things that are touch the ground for a tank. So basically to take out the tracks, you want to aim for the front of the tracks or the back of the tracks. If you hit either one of those wheels, you almost have a 100% chance to take out the tracks, if you have enough damage, that is. So now, we're moving on to the turret. So the turret is one of the easiest ones to locate because you can actually see it. So basically, you want to shoot where the turret connects to the hull. Now, usually there's a space between the turret and the hull. Once you get to higher tier tanks, there isn't actually a space there in most tanks, but at the lower tier tanks, you can actually see a space from the turret and to the hull. Basically, you shoot at that little ring, and it should take out the tank turret. Now, the gun, this one's also a very easy one to locate, but it's hard to hit because you have to hit like right where the gun connects to the mantlet, and you should take out the tank. Now, the thing that I've learned about trying to take out the gun is when you're aiming, you can't actually hit it from the side. For whatever reason, I've tried it many times, it's never actually worked, from what I know anyways. Now we're going to move on to the ammo rack and the radio. They're both very hard to locate on most tanks unless you know the actual tank very well. But the ammo rack is usually located on the side of the turret, or maybe in the back if it's a really rare turret. Or it's located right under the turret, like on the sides. Basically, guys, that's where you want to aim for the ammo rack. And now the radio, this one's probably even harder to locate than the ammo rack. And I'm pretty sure the hitbox is a lot smaller too, or it feels that way because I feel like I never hit them. So basically, the radio is usually in like the back of the turret. Basically, think where they would put a radio that's like out of the way, but crew can still get to it. So it's probably in the back of the turret, or maybe in like the front side of the turret, or the sides of the tank, like right under the turret, like out of the way. Now we're gonna move on to the gas tanks and the viewports, which are both very easy to locate. And basically, it's very simple for trying to shoot at these. If it looks like a gas tank, it probably is a gas tank. Basically, just aim at the gas tanks and you should hit the gas tanks. That's very simple. If it looks like a gas tank, probably is a gas tank. Now for viewports, it's the same thing with the gas tanks. If it looks like a viewport, it probably is a viewport. They're usually on the top of the turrets, next to the gun, or like in the hull a little bit, like where the driver sits and stuff. So it's usually in the front of the tank. There's usually not that many viewports in the back of the tank. Besides, like in the back of the turret, you might see a few there. But usually they're probably at the top of the tank, and probably in like the front hull of the tank too. They also count as weak points, so if you want to penetrate a tank very easily, just aim right there. So basically, that's been my guide for where to aim for when you're trying to take out certain modules of a tank. So like the video if this did help you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. And remember, guys, thank you for watching, and have a good night.